Hello, this is Chef Marcus Guiliano, and I'm your chef on a mission. And today's mission is one of my favorite topics.
Wine.
Wine. We just spent 2 weeks in Italy.
We did.
Touring wineries in northern Italy. We love wine. We love wine at Aroma Time. We love good wine, family-run wineries. Jamie, we got a great article here from barmagazine.co.uk. What is the next big trend in wine for 2018? What's their prediction?
What do you think it is?
Yeah, what do you think?
What do you think it is?
What do you think the biggest thing is?
We know what it is. We're going to tell you. So the next big trend is organic wines. Organic wines are hitting the spotlight in 2018. People are looking for, I think, more organic. And so organic wines set to be in the spotlight.
Yep. So what does this article say? Because organic wines have gotten a bad rap in the past.
Well, they don't have flavor. They don't taste good. Why would you want to buy them, right?
Right.
So, but there's a lot of wines out there that are organic that you don't even know that you're drinking that are organic.
There's a lot of wines that aren't labeled organic that are
Right.
such. So the grapes are grown organically because these small wineries, family-run wineries, aren't stupid to spray a lot of harmful chemicals. So they're more organic in nature to begin with. And really, like the heart of Burgundy, there's a lot of organic vineyards going on in Burgundy and even in the U.S. And it's just people are drinking it and just not realizing what they're drinking because the wineries are afraid to put organic on the label
Because they get a bad rap.
and hopefully that'll change.
Absolutely. So Cedrine Vimont from Sudvin Bio, organizers of organic wine trade in fair Millesime Bio, looks ahead to more attention on organic wines in the on-trade in 2018.
Now, we used to go to the biodynamic and organic wine tasting every other year in New York City. And I haven't
heard about it in a while.
Yeah, we met some Nicolas Jolie.
Maybe we should look into it a little bit.
Yeah.
See if they're still doing anything like that.
They used to rotate from San Francisco to New York every other year, and we went several years.
Yes.
It was a great event.
So as we approach the turn of the new year, all eyes are on the food and drink trends to watch for in 2018. This year, it seems organic wines are set to experience their moment in the spotlight, with consumers and industry bodies alike demonstrating a growing appreciation of products with environmental, ethical, and health credentials.
Ethical, too.
At Sudvin Bio, we have seen the profile of organic wines boom across the globe, and what was once considered a niche market has become more and more ambiguous. This has been reflected in the growth of our annual trade fair, Millesime Bio, set to return in January for its 25th year with a bigger exhibitor and visitor attendance than ever before.
I'm assuming that's in London. This is a UK. I'm assuming that's where it is.
The growth in the market extends to the on-trade, with bars and restaurants across the country appreciating the worth of having a selection of organic wines on their list. This spike in popularity can be attributed to various factors ranging from industry developments to changing consumer behavior.
Now, it used to be when we wanted to buy organic wine 10 years ago, we had to buy from a wine vendor that specialized
in organic
wines. Now, every wine vendor out there.
And a lot of our wine vendors, our distributors that we have relationships with, know that we're interested in that, and they bring us wines that are organic or biodynamic.
Right.
And they let us taste them, and they're excited about it now. I think more so than they were when we started this, the restaurant 14 years ago.
Absolutely.
People are definitely more excited. I mean, I remember there were times we went into the city that we had to meet with the organic distributor, and we had to meet somewhere, and we'd have to taste the wines, and then we'd have to buy them, and it wasn't as easy to do business with somebody who was organic back then, who was distributing organic wines back then.
A lot of distributors now actually have special pages in their books that are dedicated to sustainable, organic, biodynamic wines, and it's really great that a lot of vendors have just grabbed onto this, but again, it's now the consumer that's really the one who has to follow through and say, okay, I'm going to a restaurant and I'm truly going to order, I'm going to look for something that's local, biodynamic, organic, sustainable. We were talking to one winery, one wine owner from northern Italy. This was about, I don't know if you remember this conversation, about 6-7 years ago. They were in the restaurant and they were explaining that to how the neighbor does biodynamic. And they were kind of perplexed because they would pick their grapes, on the set days, pick grapes, measure the bricks, get all the scientific stuff down. But the guy next door would wait for the first full moon or something of that cycle and then pick, do a night picking and this and that. And they were scratching their heads. They go, but his wine was always amazing. But it wasn't following what they were supposed to be doing on paper scientifically. I don't know if you remember that conversation.
I don't really remember it that well.
I remember that because and the guy was like, they put crystals out in the vineyard. And he goes, and the wine is fantastic. He goes, we're sitting there scratching our heads. How are they doing that? Because the law says you're not, whatever it says on paper, the theory of winemaking is you're supposed to be picking the grapes now. So it's just interesting to see.
Well, I think there's a lot of wineries that are picking grapes at different times now, and they're not following the set order. The weather is changing, and they're looking for a specific, style of wine.
They are.
And so they're not necessarily, and we learned that a lot when we were in Italy. That
from Russolo, remember?
Right, that they're just going off onto their own pattern now, and not every first week in October or second week in October do they pick grapes like they used to.
Right, Russolo up in the Dolomites, south of Dolomites in Friuli, they accidentally years ago left on like a bunch of grapes on some vines and then made wine like afterwards. Mm-hmm. So now they have their late picking where they leave 1 or 2 bunches on each cluster on each vine and then go back and then mix all the grapes and make one wine with all the mixed. And it's not a sweet wine. No. It's still a dry wine, but it's after the fact that everything's been picked. You go back 2 weeks later and then pick the remaining one
or two bunches
that had the time to sit there and still get nourished from that vine with only that cluster on it.
I think there are just winemakers out there that are just want to be unique and different, and they're looking for a specific style, and so there might not necessarily be a specific way to pick grapes.
Right. So this is a long article. Let's just jump to the ethical part. Sure. Ordering ethically.
So ask most consumers what sets organic wine apart, and they will call out the natural farming methods that give all organic products their premium status. What is less understood, however, is the additional time required from the winery to craft these wines, which calls for more manpower to compensate for the lack of chemicals, machinery, and pesticides. This increase in employment opportunities in the vineyards helps to contribute to the category's ethical credentials, with an organic wine estate employing an average of 1.5 times the amount of staff that a conventional estate does. So hence why it's probably a little bit more expensive, right? And, they're probably not getting as much yield, right? They might lose a little bit because of the pesticides unless they're doing other practices to combat the bugs. So there's a lot of different...
There's a lot of things, but there's a lot of times that organic gets better yield.
Yeah.
Just because the vines are healthier.
Interesting.
The crops are healthier. So roots are in deeper. In a drought year, organic always...
does better.
Always prevails because you train the roots and whatever you're growing to grow deeper and deeper and tap into a water table or get into more moisture content soil, so they don't need as much water. So
they're still going to get that flavor even without the water.
So yeah.
Furthermore, the natural methods used on organic vineyards have direct benefits on the winemakers and workers themselves, reducing the risk of illnesses caused by the prolific presence of chemicals on normal vineyards. Many organic winemakers have been reported having rediscovered a real purpose and strengthened interest in their work, as a return to nature engenders a stronger connection to the terroir. So, and there's probably more of a story also, right? So,
yeah.
Telling the food and wine story. Within the restaurant scene, we're seeing a shift towards simpler cooking and a return to natural ingredients.
Bingo. We sure are.
Which we've been doing for 14 years. Head chefs are paring back both their menus and their recipes, resulting in dishes which lend themselves perfectly to being paired with organic wines. Seasonal produce is also having the moment in the spotlight, with many restaurants and bars adapting their menus throughout the year to celebrate ingredients currently at their best. This is mirrored in the terroir-focused approach of organic winemaking, with the growers being led by the seasons rather than manufacturing to meet their own needs. This storytelling tie-up between seasonal food and wine is a vital USP that those in the on-trade can use to endorse presence of organic wines behind their bars.
Yep. So
there is a correlation, right, between the way restaurateurs are thinking, the way that consumers are thinking, and I think
chefs,
the wine trade is trying to grab onto that and give the consumer more of what they're looking for, whether it's in a restaurant or at home.
Yeah, and it was interesting that that they said the chefs are scaling back. We've scaled our menu back, and we're not serving asparagus year round anymore. We're only serving asparagus in season now. We've cut back a lot of our things and really focusing on more, even though we're focusing on local and seasonal, but we're really more and more so now focusing on, hey, there's some carrots out there for 2-3 months. Let's roast carrots and have roasted carrots as part of our vegetables now.
Absolutely.
So celery root for the first time we brought in years, different squashes and things. So it's really, and people love that kind of stuff. So why not just follow through with the wine, simpler, more organic, more natural. It did mention something about taste buds in here, folks. Organic wine, I don't know why organic wine's gotten a bad rap.
But I don't think it tastes any different.
There isn't.
No. I mean, we tasted some amazing wines over the many years, and whether it's labeled organic or not, I think it's a mindset that people put in their minds that organic isn't going to taste good. And we've heard that for years, even about food that is organic.
Yep.
And I personally, from my experience, haven't really found that. I mean, there are some bad wines out there.
There's bad wines.
And maybe some are organic and maybe some are not. But, for the most part, organic has just gotten a bad rap.
I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano.
And this is Jamie.
If you like our videos, please hit like.
Subscribe
to our YouTube.
And pass it on.
And leave a comment. What's your favorite organic wine?
Have a great day.